Iran's parliament, the judiciary, disbanding the country's controversial morality police, and this after reports that they're also reviewing the law that requires women to cover their heads at all. Now, the issue has triggered more than 2 months of deadly protests in the country, which began after Mahsa Amini, a 22-year-old of Kurdish origin, all in case you've missed it here, died in morality police custody. That was back on September 16th after her arrest for an alleged breach of that dress code. Around 500 protesters have been allegedly killed, countless thousands detained, all while people continue to brave these streets, burning their mandated head coverings and protesting the government directly. All the risk that brings with it. We're joined now by Dr. Tamar Elam-Gindin, an Iran expert at the Esri Center for Haifa University and the owner of the podcast, Enriched Iranium, if I'm pronouncing that one right. It's a great name. Thanks for being with us. Does this moment today, at least the reports we're getting, how legitimate is it? Does it demonstrate that real reform is possible, even in Iran?
First of all, I want to stress that it's been almost 2 months that the morality police has not been active.
Okay.
If you see photos and videos from shopping malls in Tehran, you see that half the women do not wear their hijabs. So in action in the streets, de facto, there was no morality police for about 2 months. And now they're talking about making it official. They can't change the law because it's part of the Constitution, and the Constitution cannot be changed, but the enforcement of the law can be changed. And that's what has been done in the past 2 months or so. We still don't know if it will really happen.
Yeah.
But if it happens, it's just something official.
How bad is the situation? What do we know about how big the protest movement is still, the use of deadly force, the arrests, the death sentences? What do we know accurately about what's happening in Iran right now, these 2 months?
It's been 2 months. It's actually the 12th week now.
Yeah.
So the protests have been coming and going in waves. They never really subside, but they're more or less during the World Cup. In the 3 games, more people were at home watching the games and praying for the team's defeat.
Wow.
And actually, after the defeat to the United States, people went out on the street to protest and to be happy, and people got killed there because it was also a protest. We know that the protests reach more than 100 cities, more than 100 universities. It hasn't been as widespread in terms of numbers of people throughout the land as, for example, what we saw in 2019.
Yeah.
But the spread, the geographical spread, and most of all, the persistence, the fact that it's been going on for 12 weeks,
remarkable.
Is something that's really unprecedented.
Outstanding. Yeah, unprecedented. Yes.
The last time we saw protests that are this persistent were in 1978, 1979.
Yeah, a big development then, obviously, in the country. in moments like these, from what we know, you mentioned the World Cup. Is it an outlet? Are people fleeing the country in big numbers? Is this a moment that, obviously they're not really seeing official stats probably on what's happening, but is that a movement? What can we tell about how people react?
There have been rumors that I don't know if they were confirmed, about officials and families of officials who are leaving the country, who are fleeing the country. It was about 2 months ago. And right now, I don't see a very big movement outside because people are feeling they can change now. They do go on the street, more young people than older people. We still have to see the protest grow to more age groups, but it is ongoing. And we see footage from different parts of Iran. I follow Twitter channels and Telegram channels all the time. Both of the protesters and of the government itself, they describe 2 different realities altogether.
Yeah. Remarkable. Well, it's just so hard to decipher.
In the protester channels, you can see that it's ongoing. It's still there.
Well, we are rooting for them in many ways here, especially when it comes to those freedoms here. Dr. Tamar Elam Gindin, thanks for being with us here on the latest we can decipher from Iran.